Marit Larson Olmy, later Mrs. Enid Erickson, had 7 children, and they were Anne, Emil, Mina, Dan, Arthur Herman, Alma, and Norman. So Mom, let's just go through those and let's talk about Anne. And she was born in 1872 and lived till 1964. And she was married to Harold Hansen.
And he was a dentist, an old-fashioned dentist. Strapped your hands to the seat and drilled without any Novocaine or anything. I went to him once and I told Mother I wouldn't go again. So then we
You went to
Don Wheeler, who was married to Uncle Emil's daughter, Bernice. But after...
So Anne lived a long time, and she came to your...
She came to my college graduation with my mother and dad.
So Anne had Gertrude,
Yeah,
was their daughter, who married Robert Lynch,
yeah,
and they had Monica and Brian.
yeah. Other way around, Brian and Monica.
Okay. And then there was Emil.
Yeah, Emil, and then I told you about Emil.
No. Tell me about Emil,
Oh,
but
he
project
and
better.
Reuben Train got together and started the train company, and we have a record of the dedication, I think, of Emil Erickson's
Building.
building in LaCrosse, and they have a huge picture of him hanging on the wall down there. We've gone there quite a few times to see it. Anyway, and then after...
And then he had a couple, he was a tooler. So when the war came, the train company was taken over and had to...
Well, they were, I can't remember, they were making war things, but he made all of the tools in his basement that they used to continue with the train company. So, anyway.
And Erick Wheeler has all those tools.
Yes, and Erick Wheeler, his son, his grandson has all those tools.
So Emil was married to Hulda.
Yeah, and she babysat me when I was little, and was one of my favorites. And she lived to be very old. I can't remember how old.
She was 97.
97 when she passed away, yeah. Yeah, and our neighbor, Mrs. Beals, took care of her for years. And I played with her daughter, Marilyn, when I was little.
And she was the one who had that beautiful oriental rug.
Yes, and Erick has now. Erick Wheeler has. Yeah, it was in their dining room.
And then there was Mina.
Yeah, and Mina lived in Milwaukee all her life. She didn't have any children. And she came to LaCrosse, to my knowledge, very seldom. I saw her very, very seldom.
Which one is Mina?
The one on this end.
The one right here. This is Mina.
Yeah.
So she never had any children.
And she was married to Bill Ennis, and
They lived in Madison.
Yeah.
And they very seldom came to LaCrosse.
Yeah, I never saw her anyway.
And then there
Very few
was
times.
Dan, and this is Dan on the top there.
Yeah.
And talk to me about Dan without looking at the picture.
I don't remember Dan at all. I think he passed away before I was born.
Well, he passed away in 1936, so he was 50.
Yeah,
He was never married, and he was in World War I
yeah,
in France, and we have a beautiful declaration from him
yeah.
of being awarded a medal. And then there was Arthur, your dad.
Yeah. He was a banker all his life. He went to work for the bank when he was in high school, and as a errand boy or whatever, and he kept going up in the bank, and ended up as vice president. So
And he lived at the,
country club.
well, he lived at the country club playing golf every day, but he lived at the YMCA.
Yes, he lived at the YMCA before he was married, and he was, I think, almost 50, wasn't he, when he
Right.
was married? Yeah.
He was born in 1882, and he and Alice got married in 1927
Yeah.
and
So-
bought their home.
Yeah.
So he married Priscilla Alice Knutson, your mom.
Alice Priscilla Knudsen. Get it right.
And Alice
What?
had worked at a pharmacy.
Yeah, Alice worked as a pharmacist. It was during when they couldn't buy liquor.
Prohibition.
Yeah, Prohibition, and she'd go down in the basement to get a prescription for somebody, and the bottle would be empty because it had alcohol in it, because the man that owned the shop that she worked in was an alcoholic, and he drank all of any of the liquor that had alcohol in it. He drank it up before she could sell it. So she had quite a hard time during Prohibition.
And then there was Alma, and she married Holton Forsyth. And they had Margaret,
Yeah,
who married Bill Burgess,
yeah. And they had 3 sons.
Steve, Jim, and Tom.
Right.
And what about Alma? What was she like?
She was lots of fun. We always had Christmas. Well, we didn't always.
Which one's
but
Alma?
many times we would dance around the Christmas tree like they did in Norway, and she made the best custard pudding with brown sugar, on the bottom. Oh, it was the best. And she always made lots of Norwegian cookies, and of course everybody did, from Our Savior's Lutheran Church. But she and Mother sang in the choir for years, as long as I can remember. They sang in the choir together. But she was like a ramrod. She stood up so straight. Well, they all did.
Well, and that's where you had your shower for your wedding, right? At her house?
No, at her
At
daughter's
Margaret and
house.
Bill Burgess's.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had a shower there, and I had my wedding reception was at Bernice's house. Bernice Erickson
And so,
Wheeler.
what did Holton do?
Holdy,
Holton. What did Alma's husband do?
he was an insurance man.
Okay. And then there was Norman, and we didn't know Norman because he only lived from 1873 to 1893, so he passed away at 20.
Yeah,
So all of these other 6 children lived very long, full lives,
Yeah.
and really not too many health issues.
no, Dad never had any. Worst thing he ever had was a cold.
So, and that's kind of the story there. Anything else you want to say?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
They all had a story to tell.
So, of these, Aunt Anne had a cottage in Chautauqua.
Yeah.
Okay, so in our next video, we're going to talk Chautauqua.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.